This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang!
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity. With Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance, it keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
I didn't bring this up with Mike Grimm, the Vox for Golden Gophers football. Ryan Burns, at Ryan Burns MN via the tweet machine. If you would like to follow him, if you are so inclined, as 9 to noon is, and learn more about Gopher Illustrated and 24/7 sports and stuff like that. But for some reason, I saved this for you. It's with Minnesota Vikings preseason. All right, there would be moments in training camp, joint practices, or preseason games where myself and a media relations member or myself and somebody would look at each other and just go, Brosmer, though.
Yeah.
And that was it. Brosmer, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like it was so eye-opening because it got better step by step by step. And then, and I'm sure you've interviewed him and seen him do press conferences. Maybe you know him intimately. I didn't until a week and change ago. And I sat down with him for 25 minutes. 12 of it was via an interview that we played back on 9 to noon.
Sure.
And, I'm not saying that I'm 10 of 10 discernment guy, but nevertheless, I've done interviews like that with newbies for quite some time. And he's different. He's just different. And it's real. So when he played quarterback for the Golden Gophers last year, what did you think of him? And what was the point you knew, hey, this guy may stick at the next level?
He's among the smartest kids I've ever seen. I mean, he is, even go back to his background in New Hampshire. I think he's a biomedical sciences major, of which he's got the lab coat and everything. And he's someone that, if you talk to the Gopher football staff, he spent about as much time in the facility as anyone they've had. He was someone, by the end of spring ball, was sitting in the offensive staff meetings with all of the offensive coaches, the offensive coordinator, Greg Harbaugh, trying to make sure that we're all on the same page here, because he's the one that's got to go out and execute it. I think by the time we got to Big Ten play and you saw that the game started to slow down for him a little bit, and that's what you've even seen with the Vikings, where he is as intellectually smart and football smart of a Gopher quarterback as I've covered in my 15 years. And to see that translate to the Vikings, where Kevin O'Connell better than about 99% of people out there. And you know how complex that offense is. Well, once Max Brosmer starts to figure it out a little bit, as you've seen him do, it's no surprise to me that he's now in the 53.
There was a play in the third quarter at Nashville, third preseason game. We're happy for everybody, right? Tell that to Chaz Chambliss and or Austin Keys, who might have made the team in that game.
An elite football name, by the way. Chaz Chambliss.
Phenomenal.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I've done a little work on him. I had certain things down for the simulcast or the radio call with Chambliss during the preseason games, but now that he made the squad, I've started to watch some highlights and just look at him at Georgia and stuff. And holy cow, I mean that Georgia defense, it just never stopped with all these players. But anyway, with Brosmer in that third quarter at Nashville, because it's vanilla. Okay, we know that, but teams still switch into things. So Tennessee's playing a man defense. Brosmer goes back on his drop. They switch to a cover 2. I've been told he processed that and picked that up like that.
Yeah.
And made the play with a bullet stepping into the throw. So you do stuff like that. You have O'Connell spit out plays and you diagram them on the whiteboard, and you're a film junkie like him. It's impossible for him or people to let you go. Not just practice squad, like active roster. You know this, Bo Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
For college free agents, Daniel Jackson, he's on the Texans practice squad, right?
He's probably going to be ending up there, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, nevertheless, that was a bad example, but there are undrafted players who will make it to the National Football League because 53 times 32, it's going to happen. But they're generally not quarterbacks.
No.
And he was and is for a reigning coach of the year who calls the plays of a 14-win team. Mm-hmm. I am so moved by the accomplishment that young man attained. I'm looking back at some things last year, just figuring, because I saw the first game and, I watch as much as I can unless we're traveling. Mm-hmm. There had to be a moment last year he took off, where was it? Or was he consistent the whole year?
I think just the whole month of October, especially that Maryland game where he had one of the best throws I've seen from a Gopher quarterback, where he got to his fourth read in the progression, of which after the game, the receiver at the time, Elijah Spencer, said, "We've run that play 20 times in practice. We've never got to the fourth one." And Brosmer processed it to where, I know 1, 2, and 3 aren't there. I'm just going to let it go. He should be there. Back corner in the end zone. There's Elijah Spencer for a touchdown.
Wow.
I mean, the thing with Brosmer is, I think a lot of people forget, if you didn't watch a lot of Gopher football, he completed 66% of his passes in the Big Ten.
Yep.
3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He didn't come out of nowhere.
So he set the single season record for completions.
He's the reason why Minnesota threw over 400 times in a Gopher football offense, which, if you know anything about PJ Fleck, he likes to run the football a little bit.
And chew the clock.
He earned the respect of PJ Fleck and of Greg Harbaugh, and it was surprising to me he didn't warrant, say, a 6th-round pick in the NFL. But to see him on the 53 doesn't surprise me.
This is Bo Hunting Burnsy, ladies and gentlemen. You can find him Sunday night through Friday night at Duke's in Oakdale. Is Duke still a thing?
It is.
And he's one of Oakdale's finest. And he also is an elite football and college football mind. Once again, at Ryan Burns MN via Twitter. GopherIllustrated.com if you'd like to learn more about that, or at Minnesota 247 via the X machine. You can sign up. It's for a nominal fee and or charge. You can get wonderful coverage of the Gophers, the Big Ten, from Ryan and Ryan James, too, who I read a lot of his stuff on the Gophers basketball team. So those guys do really, really good work. What excites you about tonight, the season opener, 7 o'clock KFAN?
I'm excited to see Darius Taylor play, because Darius Taylor hasn't essentially played in the last 2 openers, which I think counts a lot of why Minnesota has struggled offensively. Back in 2023, he was still a true freshman, wasn't a part of the plans, and then last year he missed the opener against North Carolina because he was injured. Mm-hmm. Turns out having an NFL running back on your roster and having him healthy for game 1 should help a running game that struggled. But it's also the A topic of, I want to see it with Drake Lindsey. I mean, that we talk a lot about Max Brosmer, and I think one of the questions I get most is this ballyhoo Drake Lindsey. What's the difference between him and Eighth and Callie McManus a couple years ago? And I think it's that processor. And that's where you ask the offense.
For Lindsey.
Yeah. And that's where he can
So he has
process.
a swivel. You think he has a swivel?
I think he can. Now, I'm also cognizant of it's his first start.
Yep.
He's a redshirt freshman quarterback. You go back and look through some of the Gopher quarterbacks that were pretty good over the years, from Adam Weber to Tanner Morgan. Their first year as a starter, it wasn't great. It was
right.
Anything with a 20-year-old first-time starter is not linear. Now, you'd be the first to tell me that. But his processor, to me, is what stands out. And that's where the offensive coordinator, Greg Harbaugh, has talked about he has put more on Drake Lindsey's plate, or at least as much as he did for Brosmer this time last year. Now, whether he can go out and execute when the lights come on, we're going to find out. But I think Drake Lindsey, if he can be what they think he can be behind the scenes, now it's only year one as the starter. I think if you can get to the end of the season and you can start to really get excited about him being a potential cornerstone.
Yeah, then you start sweating the transfer. No, I'm not pricking the metaphorical balloon of excitement here. Well, welcome to college football. It's okay. Well, 3M, whomever, I don't know. The NIL here's good, but you know what? Up that season, I got somebody tapping on my agent over there to double it. I mean, that is reality, right?
Well, I've heard that the last couple of seasons with a guy like Darius Taylor. He's going to go to Michigan. I've heard that for 3 years now, and that's where Dinkytown athletes and the house settlement money has stepped up, or even Coy Parrish.
Yeah.
The pride of Esco, Minnesota. He could have gone elsewhere for a lot more money. He elected to stay, and I heard you talking in the opening segment with Grimmer about Jim Lindsey. Well, guess who one of his best friends that he got in cahoots was? Jerry Jones.
Wow.
So I think they're doing just fine down there in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Really?
So I don't think it's necessarily going to be about the money for Drake
it's Fayetteville.
Lindsey.
Okay, that is Jerry Jonestown.
Correct.
Wow.
So I think Greg Harbaugh and Drake Lindsey are pretty tight, and if Greg Harbaugh is still here, I think Drake Lindsey's still going to be here. But yes, in the portal era, nothing is ever guaranteed.
I got you.
I've just heard for multiple years now that Darius Taylor wasn't going to stay, Coy Parrish wasn't going to stay. So if Lindsey does go out and have a pretty good freshman season for the Gophers, I still have a lot of confidence he'll be here in 26.
The bow hunter.
Now, as part of what you'll see from Drake tonight, you mentioned the accuracy of Brosmer a year ago and people forgetting about it, just kind of putting what they're seeing now with the Vikings, trying to harken back to his days. With Drake tonight, if I'm watching a good game from Drake, am I looking at, from a processing standpoint, of course, but the touch on it. We were talking off air, Callie McManus, it felt like he'd throw a 5-yard out about as fast as a human could possibly throw a football.
He has one pitch still, and it's a Johan Duran 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
And so are we looking for that accuracy? We want to see 2/3 of these things on time, on target. Like, what are you actually looking for in his debut beyond just that the lights aren't being too bright for him?
Well, I know that he knows this, but you only get one chance to make a first impression, and this is his first impression on a Thursday night with his first career start. I just want to see if he continues to have the game slow down. One of the things the Gopher coaches have talked about extensively here in the last month is they feel like he has a low pulse in terms of the game doesn't seem to speed up for him too much. Now, it's great in practice. I've seen that from different Gopher quarterbacks over the years. Now I need to see it on a Thursday night. I don't think they're going to come out and sling it 30, 35 times, especially with Darius Taylor healthy. But I want to see him get through his progressions. I want to see him after the first couple of drives start to settle in a little bit. I'll be the first to remind you, and I just told you this before we went on air, there's no preseason in college football.
Okay.
And so the first half of any college football game you watch, even if you watched Farmageddon last weekend, Iowa State and Ireland, where the Guinness was...
Who called it Farmageddon? That's elite.
I think there's been many national prognosticators.
Elite.
But the first half wasn't pretty. It settled in the second half. It started to look like that beautiful game of college football that we love. So if he can just settle down, because even Brosmer in the first game last year, it didn't click for him right away. Now, if it starts to click for him against Buffalo in game one, I'm not here to tell you that they're going to be in a college football playoff team, but just him to settle in a little bit is what I want to see.
PA earlier with Grimm kind of went through, and Grimm rattled off the names. Greg Johnson, he was a center, now he's a guard. And Ashton Beers, he was a guard, and now he's a center. And we got Roy and Ray, I believe, bookending this thing.
You're an elite college football mind, especially Gophers. Look at you rattling off the offensive line there.
Well, I waited for Grimm to say it.
Yeah.
I was listening, and now I'm happy to regurgitate it about 75 times over the course of this year. And read what you have to offer at Gopher Illustrated.
Hey.
But new Minnesota Moving Company, college edition, that kind of plays into not just Drake's development, but let's get Darius off on the right foot tonight.
Absolutely, and that's probably the biggest thing I want to see is you've got 5 new starters on the offensive line. And this is an offensive line historically for Minnesota that doesn't play well right out the gate. and they haven't run the ball well right out the gate. So if they can, behind this revamped offensive line, of which Ariante Ursary now appears to be your starting left tackle for the Houston Texans.
He won that job. Wow.
Yeah. I
Good
think
for him.
I think they put Cam Robinson. I think I was reading a Schefter tweet the other day that they put Cam Robinson on the trade block because they feel so good about Ursary.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your highest drafted offensive lineman in Ariante Ursary in my lifetime from the Golden Gopher football program.
Yeah, Lele was second round, right?
Yeah, he was late second round.
Okay.
So Ursary went sooner, but you're replacing him with a ballyhooed 4-star, but he's a redshirt freshman. Left tackle making his first career start. How does he look?
And that's Roy?
That's Nathan Roy.
Okay, Ray's on the right.
Correct. You've got a couple of transfers on the right side of the line. You've got some in-state guys like Greg Johnson from Prior Lake at left guard now.
I'm an expert.
Many people are saying that. That's what I've been told. So can that revamped offensive line that has got to figure it out, and again, no preseason to figure out, can they figure it out in game one? I'd love to see it.
Doesn't Northwestern State kind of feel like a preseason game? That's the way they're billing this thing, is that they can't even believe that this is on the freaking schedule.
Yeah, Northwestern State, I'm not going to be the one to tell you that they're any good. They haven't won a football game since November of 2022. But this is the type of game where normally you look across the SEC schedule in the middle of November. They're playing a team like Northwestern State. So that's also part of the Drake Lindsey conversation, though, is you're not going to learn anything necessarily next week against Northwestern State about that young man.
Yeah.
And you can
learn a lot if you don't play well.
Well, you have to test him tonight.
Yeah.
Because against Northwestern State, you're not going to learn a lot.
Right.
Then you got to go out to Cal Berkeley, and now Marshawn Lynch isn't out there. Neither is A-Raj or
Keenan Allen.
Javid Best. Should we keep going?
That's a good one.
You need to test him so that when you guys do go out for a 9:30 p.m. kick, that he's ready to play in his first road start.
The bow hunter. So your season expectations, and you can read his complete season prediction. I think it's game by game. GopherIllustrated.com. Is that the best place to go? Gopher Illustrated, or just to your Twitter feed?
Either one. GopherIllustrated.com or the X Machine.
At Ryan Burns MN. Just overall your expectations. I don't need a number.
Sure.
Just and I'm not being a naysayer here. Okay, but yet you know, whether it's real life or the distraction of sports that we're following, to have a firm grasp on the truth of reality is very important to a certain extent. And that doesn't eliminate dreaming, and achieving and things like that. However, as the landscape of college football goes, there are some really, really good teams. We'll just leave it at that. So with that said, what is the dangling carrot? Like what is the dreamscape scenario for the Golden Gophers, and can they meet your expectations?
So I think it's important to even look at what the Vegas expectation is, because like I do, they don't get to build those beautiful casinos on the Strip without winning some money out there. Now, the over-under out in Vegas, I think as of today, is still 6.5 for your Golden Gophers.
Okay.
Now, they've historically been probably a win or two too low the last 5 seasons. I'm probably somewhere around 8-5, or 7-5, 8-4. Now, a lot of that comes down to Drake Lindsey. You're only as good as your quarterback, but a lot of this too comes down to how do they do in their home schedule. They've got some swing games there, such as Wisconsin, Michigan State, Nebraska on a Friday night. To your point, they've got to travel to Columbus to take on Ohio State, to Eugene to take on Oregon, 2 teams of which you're likely going to be 2 touchdown underdogs. But then you got 10 games in between there, of which I've spent the last 8 months asking PJ Fleck. You went 3-4 in one possession games last year. In 2019, when you had the magical run, you were 6-1.
Yeah.
And that's the key for this Gopher football team, is how do they do in those tight games? How do you improve? I think a lot of it comes down to special teams. Can they run the football? Can they run? That's one of the things Fleck loves to do in the fourth quarter, is take the air out of the football.
Yeah.
If Drake Lindsey is good, and if this revamped offensive line has a shot, if you can take care of business at home, you can dream on what this could be, and it could be another Florida bowl game.
Well, and you have a new defensive coordinator, and nearly 50% of your receptions are gone with Jackson and
Elijah Spencer.
So there's a lot to talk about. I also want to chat with you about tight ends and just emphasis or de-emphasizing of something. And we'll do that around the corner with the bow hunter, Ryan Burns. If you're into Golden Gophers football and or basketball, at Ryan Burns, MN, Gopher Illustrated. It's a very nominal fee. It's worth every penny.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Anyone else feeling hungry? Because Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You could stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, mozzarella sticks and marinara, or brew pub pretzels with white cheddar beer cheese. Or you could spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. The choice is yours. The Ultimate Trio is the perfect way to hit all your cravings in one plate and turn appetizers into an entree. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. That's eating good in the neighborhood.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang!
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. And push your gameplay beyond limits with Intel Core Ultra processors. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel Inside. Maximize your edge by shopping at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
We'll be right back. He's the bow hunter. He's bow hunting Burnsy, and we, I would imagine a fair amount of people here maybe haven't heard that reference or don't know what the context is. What's the context behind the old bow hunter?
I was actually out in the woods yesterday doing some tree stand work. So
there you go.
I unfortunately have my biggest passion is bow hunting deer,
yeah.
And I unfortunately chose a horrible profession for that because it takes me away from the tree stand way more than I would like. But I spend way too much time and money thinking about deer, tree stands, cell cameras, whatever it may be.
Yeah, how many trail cams you got now?
Yeah,
I don't know that I really want to say this on the radio. I think I got
7.
No, I think I got 15 or 20.
Oh, geez.
Look,
does it help?
I'll be the first. No, well. I would think it helps, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Look, I got some nice ones running around there right now, but we'll see if they're still there when opener comes. And the nice part for me this year,
well, it's a decompression time for you. And
it is. There's a lot of solace in the woods.
Knowing you close to or around a decade now, is the biggest problem you have bow hunting is not the lack of effectiveness with the trail cams.
Sure,
it's you're breaking down the all-22 of some Gophers game in said stand as these does and these deer are just running by you, man.
Yeah, it's something. I'll tell you. There's a lot of times where I wish I could be out there, but then there's a 10 a.m. press conference, or you got to go do radio, or you got to go write, and I wish I could spend more time in the woods, but so is life. You know how it goes.
Is there a two camps, like bow hunting versus the rifle guys? The bow versus the 308. Are these as Herrero might say, jets and sharks? Can you coexist in society together, both ultimately trying to find your way to the same goal?
2,000 and 3,000 years ago, they didn't have rifles.
Correct.
Yet they had bows and arrows. So you're the oldest of old school ever to be old.
I think you're a traditionalist.
I can play both sides of the fence here because the Gophers 2 bye weeks. The first one is on bow opener and the second one is on gun opener here in the state of Minnesota. So I get to play both sides of the coin there. Look, however you want to take your deer and harvest it and get that venison in the freezer.
Just do it the right way, right?
Yes, I would just tell you the purists would say it's the bow hunting, but I just bow hunt because that's where my permission leads me.
I think I'm pro bow.
Like with Grimm, it's because Lindsey is a quarterback. He subsequently is the A topic. I mean, so what tentacles come off set A would be new. And it's all new to him. I mean, that's a big one right there. But a quarterback is an A topic. Right behind that, the B topic for me, and I'm just going to lay it out to you like this. Of the 760 transfers they have on whom they're counting, do you have a favorite? You have a favorite transfer or two of the voluminous number of transfers here?
I think the guy on defense I want to see tonight is the Iowa transfer, of which I was asking some people, because I hadn't, in my 15 years now covering this team, I couldn't remember another Iowa transfer that Minnesota has taken. Now, there's a lot of, obviously, animosity between the two schools. You just don't see it very much back and forth. I even think back to Minnesota and Wisconsin back in the day. The only name I could truly think of was Kim Royston, who played some defensive back for Minnesota.
Have any of our guys gone down to Iowa City?
Kim Royston, his father, I think, Chris from Brooklyn Park, used to call the radio station a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
Chris was cool, man.
That's we could do a whole segment on that one. But yeah, there hasn't been a lot of transfers between Minnesota and Iowa, Minnesota and Wisconsin, and vice versa. But to take a corner from Iowa, I think he might start tonight.
Wow.
And to see if he can...
New age Desmond King.
Well, he's Minnesota's version of Jason Sehorn if it works out correctly.
What do you mean?
I think I'll let everybody watch tonight and see if John Nestor is the guy starting out there.
Why can't he be Jeff Fisher?
Who says no?
Got it. I'll get you out of this a lot.
I see him more of as a Cooper DeJean, I would say.
Yeah. Brilliant. So new age, too.
As they attempt to replace Justin Wally, third-round draft pick of the Indianapolis Colts, it's unfortunate that he tore his knee in fall camp, or else he might be starting. I'd heard some things out of that camp that maybe he was going to start for the Colts. They got to replace both corners. And then offensively, a couple of guys on the offensive line. Again, it's not a sexy position necessarily, but Marcellus Marshall and Dylan Ray, a couple of transfers, are projected to start at right guard and right tackle. They got to be good on the offensive line if they're going to protect the wonderkin that is Drake Lindsey, if they're going to allow Darius Taylor to potentially be an all Big Ten running back. So I think those three specifically I'll have an eye on tonight.
So with Danny Collins, I got all his albums, the elevated defensive coordinator. Do we think tonight when we all listen and or watch, we think it's going to be, I don't know, Flores-esque 3-4 hybrid with floaters, or maybe just more Tampa 2?
This is how I know I'm getting old, by the way, is now the defensive coordinator is the same age as me, of which he is 33 years old, and I'm now 33. So
I know what you mean.
He is the third youngest defensive coordinator in Power 2, so that's the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see it look pretty familiar in terms of a 4-2-5 defense, but...
So Nickel's their base?
Nickel is going to be their base.
Yeah.
I think especially going against Buffalo, who their best receiver is a slot kid. They're going to want to be in a lot of 11 personnel, 3 receiver sets. But you're going to see them play as multiple as we've seen. And that's something that Danny Collins talked about in fall camp here. I asked their best linebacker, Maverick Baranowski. He's now seen 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. Joe Rossi, who's now at Michigan State. Corey Heatherman, who's now at Miami, Florida. And now Danny Collins. I go, is this the most amount of sub packages you've seen? And he said it certainly is. So you're going to see a lot of guys hit the field tonight. I think the guy I want to see the most potentially is Emmanuel Carmo, who is the true freshman from Robbinsdale Cooper, former top player in the state.
Pass rusher?
Yeah, I think, see here, you talk about a 3-4 type of deal. I think that's what he is a 3-4 outside linebacker, and how do you use him in a 4-3 defense or a 4-2-5 defense? He has the potential to play on a lot of passing downs, and that's where you look at how Coy Parrish was used last year. He wasn't used a ton in September, and then starting in that USC game, has the big interception, is 2 the next week against UCLA.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put Carmo in more snaps here in the non-conference to find out what he can do, and we'll see what he can do with him.
In preparing for the Gophers conversation today, I'm thinking about like Devin Eastern, mentioned him, Jalen Logan Redding, but somebody that you brought up off the air, speaking of pass rush, speaking about affecting things at the D-line, was specifically Anthony Smith, and that there might be some excitement around him.
I think he's the best player on defense, and that features Coy Parrish. I'm well aware of Coy Parrish and what he can do, but I think Anthony Smith, you look at what the Gophers have done in the NFL draft, 6 straight drafts with a first or a second round pick.
Yeah.
I think it becomes 7 next spring.
And by the way, I don't know, I can't remember if Jack Gibbons was drafted.
He was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's really made a name for himself with the New England Patriots, backing up Spillane. And I mean, I didn't look at the Patriots cut, so he didn't get cut, but there is a coach on their staff who I know quite well, and he's 51 for the Pats. I watched him a little bit, and I was like, wow, former Gopher Gibbons, he fits in nicely.
Yeah, he found his way into the NFL through the Titans, who signed him as a UDFA, and then he went to 53, and now he's with the Patriots. You're correct, but if Anthony Smith, who is coming off arguably one of the quietest 11.5 tackle for loss seasons in the Big Ten, if he continues to progress the way that he has, I mean, he is going to be a guy that can wreck games for you. I think he has the potential to be the best or the most disruptive Gopher defensive lineman since Rashid Hagman. Now it's got to come together for him. He looks the part.
What about Asezi Atoma
or Boye Mafe? I think those were more edge guys. I think you're going to see him play more inside at 3 technique or potentially slide outside to 5. But Anthony Smith, number 0, has the potential to just wreck games for Minnesota.
Bo Hunter. Now, there was a Golden Gophers tight end from last year, and his last name begins with K.
Nick Callerup.
Did he make the Colts? He made an NFL roster, right?
He is on the Seattle Seahawks. He made the 53.
And I'm not being flippant here going how, okay? Because I don't know enough about the totality of his game. But this leads me to this. Is throwing to the tight end at the University of Minnesota, is throwing to the tight end de-emphasized in this offense? I'll just lay it out like that.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, first of all, you look at the last 3 starting Gopher tight ends. Keefe, who's still with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a 7th-round selection.
Yeah.
Brevin Spanford, St. Cloud Tech, stand up.
You loved him.
He's now, he just caught 10 passes last year for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
And now he's on the 53 for the 2nd straight year.
Got it.
And then Nick Callerup, who is essentially a run-blocking tight end for them last year, just made the 53 for the Seahawks.
Okay, so it's not de-emphasized in the offense.
Well, Callerup's strengths are as a run blocker, whereas Spanford didn't have the senior season that myself and many had hoped for him. But he led the team, I believe, in receptions back in 2023. So they will use the tight end. And I think this year, Jamison Gears, who's going to be the 2nd year starting for him, if he catches 25, 30 passes again, that wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Well, and maybe whether it's de-emphasized or not, I think to that end, kind of learning more about them, because this is a squad that recruits, PJ does at a high level, receivers. And Daniel Jackson and PA's gone to length about this in terms of, how many targets and how many yards you have to replace this year. So whether, it's the Mankato kid, of course, as a Scarlet myself, I'm rooting for Jalen Smith. Let's go. Let's get Scarlet drafted into the NFL, and maybe that's the answer. But who are Drake's weapons?
Well, last year, to you guys' point, it was essentially Darius Taylor was going to be the check down, or it was going to be Daniel Jackson or Elijah Spencer. Well, Spencer and Jackson are gone. I think you're going to see Minnesota rotate a lot more receivers tonight. It's going to be anybody from Lemecki Brockington, who made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list as one of the freakiest kind of athletic testers around college football. It could be Jalen Smith.
You ever met Bruce Feldman?
I have not.
I have. And Freaky and Feldman just don't mesh. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, to Nordo's point about the Mankato West kid, I mean, I've been trying to bang the drum for him all offseason. I know he hasn't caught a pass in a game, but you watch him and Drake Lindsay and the chemistry that they've had. They came in together. They're both redshirt freshmen. It wouldn't be surprised to me at all to see him catch a long touchdown tonight against the Buffalo Bulls. You've got a couple of the transfers and the slot kid, Logan Loya, who you'll see play on 3rd down. You've got Javon Tracy. I mean, there's a lot of different guys that I think Drake will spread the ball around to, so I'll make this proclamation at least. I think 5 different Gophers catch 30 passes, but none of them catch over 40, which kind of speaks to I think they're really going to spread out that passing game pie.
Okay, well, then your quarterback better have a swivel. I mean, because then you can be good at a lot of things and great at none. And if the quarterback doesn't have a swivel, meaning he's going through his reads like Brosmer did last year and preseason for the Vikings this year, you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah, and
it's impossible if the quarterback. Well, first you got protection.
Yep.
But it's impossible if the running backs can't pick up pass pro. Likewise for tight ends, offensive line, because he won't get through his progressions to make that happen.
Well, that's the thing. I think both things can be true. I don't think there's going to be necessarily an alpha in the passing game like there was with Daniel Jackson last year, or even the way that they just decided that Darius Taylor can go catch 9 passes against Illinois so that Minnesota can be the only team to go into Champaign last year to beat that team. But I also think it speaks to that they believe that Drake Lindsey can get from A to B to C very quickly.
Sweet.
Now, we're going to find out, certainly, and that's a lot for a redshirt freshman, but I will continue to say no one has tried to temper expectations for what Drake Lindsey could be here. The question is, how quickly can that come to fruition?
The Pair and a Spare podcast that you do with Guardsy and Star Tribune columnist Chip Scoggins, it's fantastic. I don't get a chance to listen to all of them, but you guys have fun with it, which first and foremost, it has good humor to it, along with elite college football breakdowns. What do you like about doing that podcast, Pair and a Spare?
Well, it's a little bit more lighthearted, where we do talk Gophers, we talk a lot of Big Ten football, but we also can get into some of the fun things of college football, which even last week when we're talking about Farmageddon between Iowa State and Kansas State, it's only the things that college football can bring you, such as the Kansas State quarterback's father and brother getting into a tussle outside the stadium in puddles, and it just looks
on social media.
And then they have to release a joint statement together, of which, in what other sport are you going to see father and brother have?
Crazy.
And I feel for the poor young man that is Avery Johnson, who's Kansas State's quarterback, but it's like dad and brother, after a poor loss for that Kansas State crew, get into it. I mean, we're in a public setting. We have to know who we are here, but we get to talk Gophers, Big Ten, and then we get to cover the fun items such as dad and brothers kerfuffles outside the stadium.
Let me get outside of the Covenant for a second, because it was so big and polarizing last year. Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah.
And my daughter graduated from there in May, so I'm not paying as much attention to it as I did. But Shiloh and Shador are gone, so is Travis Hunter. But Deion stayed. What's the cachet with Colorado with Deion now that some legitimately good players have left and gone to the NFL?
Well, especially you look at the smoke there was this offseason between Deion and Jerry Jones in terms of that Dallas Cowboy job. You know more about it than I do. But he elected to stay. And now what does this whole thing look like in the post-Travis Hunter era there, the Shador Sanders era? They brought in a transfer from Liberty, a quarterback who's going to start for them. They've also got a ballyhooed 4 or 5-star true freshman that sounds like he's going to mix in. But you know, like I do, you're only as good as your quarterback in college football, more or less, especially in a league like Colorado plays in. So can they repeat the kind of magic that they had without – I think we throw around this term too often, generational talent, but Travis Hunter, to a T, fits that description for what it appears he's set to do for the Jacksonville Jaguars and playing both ways. It's not even Shador to me necessarily, but Travis Hunter is an incredible player.
It's incredible. The 2.5-ish, 2 3/4 years my daughter went there, but she went to CU Denver for a year and a half, 2 years before. So same state, and we would go. We knowing she was getting to Boulder, we would go to some games. I've never seen anything like it. Her first year there, we went to Folsom. I paid $15 a ticket and sat on the 50-yard line, 10 rows from the field.
Sure.
No Deion. I can't even remember who the coach was, and they got killed. It was terrible. I mean, there might have been 15,000 people there. Then all of a sudden he rolls in, and now it's $3.75 a ticket to be on the 50. You got Snoop Doggy Dogg on the sideline, Phil Lodeholt coaching the offensive line, Warren Sapp coaching the defensive line, and you couldn't get a ticket. I mean, now I know the cachet that and the hype and everything that he brings with it, but I mean that should be a case study on what can be. Let's look at this. It was terrible, and nobody cared about it. Then everybody cared about it. How do you get there? You know what I mean?
Well, that's where, we talk a lot, even in this market, about how college football for an institution is the front door to the university. And you've even seen it here with PJ Fleck, where I look at the student section, and I remember what it used to be when he took over, and I know what it's been the last couple of years and what it'll look like tonight. Where
PJ's fantastic.
And that's where they fill the student section.
Yeah.
Every single game. And that's something that I know, covering this program for as long as I have, I don't take for granted. And to me, that drives the rest of the stadium. And so that's what they've done out of Colorado, is is they make college football in that town important again, and it's fun to see out there.
Well, PJ generally takes the slings and arrows from those of the older crotchety variety, where I'm like, well, if you think Bear Bryant or Frank Kush are going to roll, then go look at their epitaphs, okay? Because it's a new age, man. And with what he has here, I think he does a great job, just like you, brother. And I look forward to chatting with you more during the season, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Ryan Burns, ladies and gentlemen, he's the bow hunter. And 7 o'clock tonight, KFAN, Golden Gophers and Buffalo in the season opener. At Ryan Burns, MN, to learn about GopherIllustrated.com. We believe Chad Johnson, Ochocinco, that Ochocinco with the Bengals and the Patriots is joining us next, so don't leave.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
This is Rob Gronkowski from Dudes on Dudes. Anyone else feeling hungry? Because Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You can stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, mozzarella sticks and marinara, or brew pub pretzels and white cheddar beer cheese. Or you can spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. The choice is yours. The Ultimate Trio is the perfect way to hit all your cravings in one plate and turn appetizers into an entree. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang!
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. And push your gameplay beyond limits with Intel Core Ultra processors. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel Inside. Maximize your edge by shopping at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Man.
Well, State Fair, we've told you for quite some time this is a 9 to noon treat. Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, former game-changing receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals and the New England Patriots. He's going to join us here momentarily, and we have a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for all of you as part of the beneficiary or the conduit to Chad Ochocinco joining the 9 to noon show. That should be coming up here soon. Once main man Devin lets me know that it's happening for sure. And then we will pop this app and this bag builder, which seems to be pretty cool. But when Ochocinco was Chad Johnson and he played for the Cincinnati Bengals, he bookended a receiver named T.J. Hushmanzada. and their running back was Corey Dillon. And those, you talk about a rough and tumble Bengals team. Holy cow, playing over there in the AFC North.
No, and that was kind of the opportunity as it arises, and still looking forward to hearing from Chad.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of it was a special opportunity, and it sounds like we're going to get the chance to hear him now.
Here he is, Chad Ochocinco. Chad, it's Paul Allen on KFAN. Been a fan of yours from afar for many, many years. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for being fans of mine. I can be annoying at times, but I do love you.
And I love you, too. And we're here at the State Fair. And you know what? He played in the AFC, Cincinnati and New England. We got a big crowd here. Give him a round of applause for that fantastic career my man had from, I believe, South Florida, but definitely Florida. And he's here on behalf of DraftKings Pick 6. Visit the Pick 6 app to enter the free Bag Builder contest for Week 1, where a perfect lineup could earn you a share of a $1 million prize pool, that is. So, Ochocinco, what I did is I looked at the over-unders of the first week games, and I tried to sniff out some bad teams. So are you still with us? Okay, cool. So trying to put that perfect lineup together, you're going to get a lot of Lamar Jacksons and a lot of Josh Allens and Patrick Mahomes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think we should start with Kyler Murray because the Saints are terrible, and little Kyler might run for 100 and throw for 3. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that will happen. I think the Saints haven't solidified a good quarterback that can give them a chance to win week to week. So if obviously I would pick a Kyler Murray to go in and have a great game against the Saints, unless something miraculously happens well for the Saints, especially based on what we've seen in the preseason. It's not looking good for them, so that would be a smart pick.
And Chad, you're an elite football mom, so you know the majority of people are going to use the most popular players. That's why you got to slide in the back door with a Kyler Murray or maybe this rookie Ashton Genty. I don't know how much you've seen of him, but I'd slide him in this DraftKings Pick 6 at running back, and I don't care who he's playing. This guy may be different, right?
Yeah, he may be different. We saw a very, very, very small sample size of what he could do in the preseason. Really not enough to see what may happen or what may happen on Sundays. We know what he did in college, but we don't know if he can do it in the NFL just yet. So I think it all comes down to his usage for the Raiders, what positions they put him in to be able to be successful. And I think that's what it all comes down to. When it comes to rookies coming in, especially running backs, it's very difficult for them to be able to adjust to find success the way they did in college, because everyone else is just as fast, just as quick, just as strong. So you got to be cautious, especially when it comes to running backs.
My man, I know we only have a few more minutes, so I don't want to sit here predicting players and stuff with this DraftKings Pick 6, because when I looked at it, okay, now Stefanski's team, the Browns, and you know better than anybody, man, the Bengals, Browns, Bengals, it's the absolute bomb. The whole division is tough.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to pick on the Browns here with Joe Burrow and or Jamar Chase, but Browns are at home. Myles Garrett is healthy. You know, you know how that rivalry goes, man. What do you think of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase?
I mean, listen, they're going to do what they always do. I think, obviously, adding T. Higgins to that picture as well, especially when it comes to that Week 1 matchup. One thing that's always difficult because there's so much familiarity when it comes to playing a division opponent. The Browns-Bengals game is always a good one. It's always a good one. And the Browns' identity is their defense. You know, Denzel Ward is top 3 to me, defensive backs in the league, and I'm sure he'll probably follow and shadow Jamar Chase that game. So, you know, Week 1, that's going to be a really, really good one. And it's a toss-up because the Bengals always start in the season 0-2, 0-3, and later picking it up from an offensive standpoint. And what defense are we going to get from the Bengals this year? I know we just paid Trey, but when Trey was there last year, we weren't very good defensively, whether it was stopping the run or stopping the pass. So you just never know. I'm excited that Joe and T and Chase decided to play in the preseason to get acclimated to game tempo and game speed. So maybe things turn around for us, you know, in the season.
If I only get a chance to ask you one more question, I cannot leave a conversation with formerly erstwhile Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, elite years with the Cincinnati Bengals and with the New England Patriots, without asking you this. And you're going to play from your heart here. You're not going to fix the race because you're a former Bengal. Better receiver and why? Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson?
Oh my goodness, that's very, very difficult. That's very, very difficult. When it comes to asking about two players like that and are that good at their positions, it all comes down to preference. It all comes down to preference because you can't go wrong. That's like saying, who would you prefer, Rihanna or Beyonce? Because either way you go, it comes down to your musical preference on two of the most iconic figures in today's music world. So when it comes to Jamar Chase, it comes down to Jefferson. I mean, the numbers are what they are. Regardless of what position you put them in, what team you put them on, they would still give you the same amount of production that you've seen from them so early in their careers. That's a great question, but it all comes down to preference because then you would have to nitpick that stuff on why someone would pick Jamar Chase or why someone would pick Justin Jefferson. They are the cream of the crop when it comes to the position.
30 seconds here. What was your primary tailback, Corey Dillon?
No. My primary tailback was Rudy Johnson. I was with CD, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2 years. My first year and my second, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what year he left.
The point I'm getting at here, if you're Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson and you don't have a requisite running back to run that play action, even if you're Ochocinco, Jamar Chase, or Justin Jefferson, it might not happen. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, it's a passing league now, and the running back really doesn't matter unless you're one of the special running backs.
Right.
Special ones, your Christian McCaffreys, your Derrick Henrys. I'm going to throw James Cook in there, your Saquon Barkleys, Kyron Williams as well. I think they throw the ball so much, and they can manipulate offenses and moving receivers around so much and do so many different things with them, especially a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, where there's really no way to stop them because there's so many different places, so many things you can do with them in alignments and schemes and adjustments where they can always get the ball whether you have a running game or not.
Chad, that was the absolute bomb. Anything else you want to add about DraftKings Pick 6 that maybe I missed?
Listen, everybody, just play DraftKings Pick 6. Do me that favor. And in this economy right now, we are giving you, the fan, an experience that you can't miss. So let's go.
Yep, just like you when you played in the games. And if somebody ends up having the perfect lineup, takes part in the $1 million prize pool, maybe they can put on that yellow, that goldish HOF coat on the sideline of their home, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, thank you very much. It was a fantastic honor chatting with you. Enjoy the season, and may God bless you and your family, okay?
All right. You too. Thank you, baby.
See you, bud. That's Chad Johnson, erstwhile Chad Johnson. Chad Ochocinco on behalf of DraftKings Pick 6. Into the final hour, 9 to noon, one of our all-time favorite guests joins us. He covers hockey in second to none fashion. In fact, I've said this before, and I wrote for newspapers for 5 years, for the Pasadena Star-News and the San Gabriel Valley Tribune with USA Today. Michael Russo is the most comprehensive, detail-oriented, news-breaking beat writer I've ever come across in my life. And he's also very good with podcasting and on the radio. And we're going to hear some Russo radio around the corner from the State Fair. It's KFAN.
The day begins at the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club at Boston Logan Airport. You get the clam chowder. In San Diego, it's tostadas. New York, espresso martini. It's 10 a.m. Why not? It's the quiet before your next flight, the shower that resets your day, the menu that lets you know where you are. This is access to over 1,300 airport lounges and every Sapphire Lounge by the club. And one card that gets you in. Chase Sapphire Reserve, the most rewarding card.
Learn more at chase.com/Sapphire Reserve. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC, subject to credit approval.
Fox One is now live. It's the new way to stream all your Fox favorites all in one place. voice. That means NFL Sundays and college football games, breaking news with the Fox voices you trust, and your favorite shows streamed as they happen so nothing gets spoiled. With Fox One, you get it all live. Edge-of-your-seat plays, jaw-dropping moments, and that feeling like you're right there in the action. Start your 7-day trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions. Fox One, we live for live. Streaming now.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You could stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you could spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. That's eating good in the neighborhood.